Hello, everyone. Welcome back to one of your favorite podcasts, Chat. This is Columbus School. Right here, you are listening to Teacher April. Nice to see you all again. And with me today is a different host, but someone who is dear to our heart, David. Teacher David, thank you.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and especially with this topic, which I think is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And before I introduce you to our guest today, I want to tell you well, probably you're listening or watching us right now. You can watch us on Facebook or YouTube. I don't know where you are, but you can also listen to us only on Apple Podcast and also on Spotify. So choose the best one for you. But even though you can listen to the podcast in those places, we also have more content on Instagram. And Teacher Pablo makes amazing TikToks with great advices, tips and tricks, and phrases, translations. I really like what Teacher Pablo is doing on TikTok.
Yeah, totally. Really fun,
I know.
right?
And he's so good. I mean, he has it, you know? He
Yeah.
has charm. He
hmm
knows how to do it. And so today with us, our special guest is Lucy Ortiz.
Hi, I'm
Hello.
Lucy.
Hello, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, we're glad. We're glad to have you. So we want to know a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Okay, so my name is Lucy. I'm 21. I'm a med student. I study medical school. I'm in my fourth year, and for fun or like on my free time, ever since elementary, no, it was junior high. I started learning different languages, and that's
All
like
right.
kind of what's my passion, what I do and enjoy.
Mm,
So which
interesting.
languages do you know?
Well, I know Korean and Japanese and English and Spanish.
And Spanish,
And
of course.
I started learning Thai a short time ago.
All right. Okay. And talking about that, do you feel like I assume, and you're gonna tell me if I'm incorrect, but I assume that you learned first English, right?
Yes, of course. In my family, learning English was never an option.
Mhm.
Ever since I started elementary school, I started learning English. And
Right.
I never saw it, like, I really never did see it as an option.
Mhm.
So I'm very glad for that. So I spoken English since forever.
All right, and that's so cool and so interesting. And my question in this part is, or would be, do you feel like learning different languages besides English has been easier now that you know, or first that you knew English, or because of
Of
English?
course.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, I started learning Korean before it was popular,
Mhm.
before BTS.
Yeah.
So the sources for learning Korean for free in the internet were all in English. Like there
Okay.
was no Spanish based Korean learning sites or YouTube channels or whatever. So everything was in English. So that was like learning English was everything for me to start learning Korean.
Okay. All right.
Nice. I kind of thought of like the structure also. Like in my own experience, I only know two languages, right? Spanish and English. But I imagine that maybe if you have the comparing point of the different structures in Spanish and English, so then it can give you an idea on how, or it is easier to understand that it is going to have like a totally different structure, or maybe you find similarities in the language. Did that happen?
I think it mainly gets your brain used to thinking differently.
Mhm.
Not because they're similar, because Japanese and Korean are nothing like English
Yeah.
or Spanish at all.
Mhm.
So it makes me, I think, yeah, I think it just makes you get used to Spanish not being everything, Spanish not being like the rule, and
Mhm.
there being other possibilities in the world for thinking in other languages. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, yeah.
because they're not similar to English, I cannot say they helped me like directly,
Mhm.
but yeah, they helped me. Yeah, English helped me get used to that.
And now that you know many other languages, do you think that it has helped you understanding a little bit better your own language, like your native language?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, in elementary school, you get taught like what are nouns and
Yeah.
what are like verbs and conjugations that, yeah, it, yeah, it has helped a lot. Like, you don't notice that stuff when you
Hmm.
start learning your own language.
Yeah.
But when you start learning other languages and then you compare it to your own,
Hmm.
you're like, oh, that was always there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and or simply things like the names, right, of the things. For example, like a person or a thing is a noun, right? But in
Yeah,
Spanish, we're like we don't what is that? What is a noun,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We
So
don't give it a name until we learn it.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting, interesting. All right. Um, yeah, I thought that was going to be kind of like, I mean, where you were going to go, but I wasn't sure, but I'm glad it did. And you knowing all these languages, have you been able to use it in the specific situations? Because I know a little bit about yourself. And,
A
you
little bit.
know,
Why is
a
that?
little bit. I don't know, but you're just like so pretty and intelligent.
I feel like I know you my whole life.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
whole life.
And yeah, it seems like I know you since forever you've existed. But you know, what situations have you had the opportunity to use the languages, maybe English in particular?
English in particular, actually, it's I think this situation that I'm gonna tell you about, I think it was the beginning of me starting to know myself and what are my goals for my future or like the rest of my life. It gave me a purpose, this specific thing. So I don't know if you've heard, but in La Paz, we have some hospitals, but they're not big like specialty hospitals. You've probably heard about someone not being able to get a surgery in La Paz because they
No.
had to go somewhere else. Well,
Yeah.
that was happening with children with heart issues. So children with heart issues always had to get sent to
Mhm.
another city to get heart surgeries, and that was like a very sad situation, because some of them were like put on the wait list and stayed there for years, or even like died before they could get the surgery. So there was this amazing program that people from Omaha Children's Hospital and from the States started, which was a heart surgery program. They would come to La Paz and stay there 1 week doing 2 surgeries a day for those kids that couldn't travel anywhere else
Mhm.
or have been waitlisted for a very long time. So obviously, we couldn't do that here. We didn't have the people weren't prepared, the medical staff and everyone. So they brought
The materials, right?
the
Yeah, and the
materials. There was
facilities.
nothing here.
Mhm.
There
Mhm.
was like nothing. So they brought a whole medical staff from the United States, and of course, medical staff from there didn't speak Spanish. Most of them, maybe even none, sometimes. So they needed translators. And I was very young when the whole program started, but when I turned 15, they allowed me for the first time to participate as a volunteer translator. And I think it's one of the, I got chills just now. I think it was one of the best experiences of my life being able to translate for them or like interpret, because I wasn't really
Mhm.
translating. An interpreter from that program has a joke. She says that she has it with other interpreters. They say like, if someone asks them like, can you translate this for me? She's like, sure, give me a pen. It's
Mhm.
funny because translating is written,
Yeah.
interpreting
Mhm.
is spoken.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was one of the interpreters there, and I love it. I seriously think it changed me as a person, and it's deep in my heart, and it
Mhm.
will forever be.
Yeah, I'm sure. And how being so young, like like you said, like you were 15, right?
Yeah.
So how did you prepare? Like, were you afraid of that? Like maybe thoughts of, maybe what if I don't say this like the right way? Or what if I messed up in this? Like, how did you overcome all of those fears?
Yeah. Well, I was nervous. Of course, I was nervous. I was confident in my English skills, and that helped a lot. I had never interpreted for anyone in my life. Now I've done it multiple times on different settings, but I have never done it. Luckily, I had like the best interpreter teacher ever. So they told me what to do even when I didn't know a word. So it's not as hard as it seemed.
Mhm.
It wasn't as hard as it seemed. And everyone was very nice. Even if I messed up and I told them like 10, 20 seconds later, like, wait, I got confused. This was this other thing.
Mhm.
They were all very patient and just laughed at it. And it was like, it's okay. Do they know? Yeah, they know. Okay, then it's perfect. So, yeah.
Yes, it
Okay.
was intimidating. I personally had the pleasure of participating in this program as well when I was actually starting as working at Columbus. Um, so since we were volunteer interpreters, people, when we were introduced to the staff, to the team, we said like, I have this experience with English. I have never done interpreting before. I do not know a lot about medical terms. So it was intimidating for me, but as Lucy said, people were really, really understanding. They were very grateful, which helped me, at least personally, be more confident on my
Mhm.
interpreting,
Yeah.
because they always thanked us after we finished like a little round. Like maybe they were passing the patients to the other the other schedule, the other
Mhm.
team. And after we done the rounds, that's what they call it,
Mhm.
they would be like, thank you so much for your effort, like you did
Yeah, that's right.
great.
Oh.
And you like tear up like, I'm my best. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talking about that, I would like to know a little bit more on the schedule. Like, what was the daily schedule that you have? If you had, I don't know, breaks, how many hours? Was it exhausting or not? Something
Oh,
about that.
it was exhausting. At first, well, I was a high school student.
Hmm.
So at first, they wouldn't give me like that many hours because I
Hmm.
had school the first time I did it. So I would go as soon as I finished school. That was like a 2 or 3. And then I stayed until like 10 p.m.
Okay.
The next time or the next times, because I was there 4 times,
Hmm.
I would like actually ask for permission in school and just stay the 12-hour shift because that the shifts that they were doing.
Hmm.
So I would stay with a whole shift,
All right.
like with all of the staff.
Hmm.
And it was very exhausting. Translating or interpreting, I mean, it's very exhausting. I'm a person that speaks a lot, as you may see or hear. But after that, I would just want to stay quiet. Like my mom would ask me like, how was it? And I would just say good, because I was exhausted.
Hmm.
Well, when usually she would be like, oh, first we did this and then we did
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then someone told me this and I was so good when I did that. And after those, I actually did 12-hour shifts as well.
Hmm.
And I mean, I don't know how they do it. Like it really put it into perspective for myself,
Hmm.
like taking a look at doctors and nurses, because man, 12 hours is a lot. And
Non-stopping. Hmm.
yeah, and what they do is like, it's life of or death,
Hmm.
it's even more stressful. And
Yeah.
I don't know it.
Yeah. And Lucia, was that the moment where you said, like, this is what I want to do with my
Yes.
life, right?
Yes. Yes. I discovered that helping people,
Hmm.
because we were working volunteer works, or like it was a volunteer
Hmm.
interpreting, but more than that, everyone on that program was volunteering. It wasn't just me.
Hmm.
Like the American staff, they were asking for vacation so they could come Like they would take their time, like their free time, to do this. So you get so soaked up in that good energy and that helping energy, and people that genuinely love helping, and you say, wow, this is so rewarding. Why haven't I been doing this all of my life? So that's the reason I actually decided to be a doctor. And yes, I actually wanted to be an interpreter before. I was going to language school, or I don't know how to call it, but yeah, that was going to be my major, but I changed to medical school.
Yeah, and I'm so glad because like right now we do need more people like you, and I'm so impressed by your story, and yeah, I just want to like congratulate you um to decide that, because not many people have these thoughts, of I want to help people, or I want to be that person who helps other people. So congratulations on that, and I'm so impressed by you and by your story as well.
Thank you. I think if people don't feel that urge to help yet, it's because they haven't tried it fully.
Yeah.
And they haven't. Okay, I was gonna say something about like Mexican volunteering or like social services, as in when you finish high school or something like that, but I won't. So it's very different, like being surrounded by a lot of people that want to help, because it makes you wish you were that too. And then all of the families were extremely grateful, because we were working for free. They were getting their kids surgeries for free, surgeries that would normally cost 100,000 pesos. So yeah, and it's not that you get drunk on that being faint, but it's actually it's feeling useful. It's
Yeah.
it's that feeling useful, that feeling that you were a part of it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we're missing, like as a society, and as especially Mexicans. I feel like we missed a lot this feeling of empathy, you know
Yeah.
and it's great that you are pursuing that, and that you're gonna change. I'm sure that you're gonna change the world at some point. um
Right, this is a
yes.
podcast.
Yeah, because I mean, I haven't known a lot of people that have this feeling of being helpful, and trying to help other people just because they like it, and they want to make the world a better place, as they said. So yeah, I think that's a great thing for you to be on that path.
I'm getting teary-eyed too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me
Thank you
too.
very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Okay, so um, unfortunately, this is amazing. I love this interview. I'm having a lot of fun, but we are moving on to the last part of it. So we're getting close to our last few questions for you, or even our last question. You've talked about the structure of the languages. We've talked about how you can use it to help other people. Is there anything in particular that you would like to advise to the people who are listening or watching in whatever you want on the language,
Okay, yeah. So for learning languages, the internet is amazing. So the sources for everything, like now that I'm in medical school, I see it like very enhanced, but like the sources for everything are wider in English.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna look something up that you're interested in, try to look it up in English. That's what I think helped me the most. Like I started watching YouTube in English, or if I was curious about something, I would look it up in English. Now that BTS is such a big thing, and we were all teenagers at some point, we know what fan fiction is, right? So I would read fan fiction in English, or like novels in English, and that helps tons. Like reading in English just grows your vocabulary like a lot. And like like looking up things on YouTube or your interests, like also increases your vocabulary in your interest areas.
Mm-hmm.
So make good use of the internet and try to use it to help you. And also, I heard this for a tip for learning Korean, but I think it's really helpful. Talk to yourself in the language you're
Okay.
learning.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're cooking, you're like, oh my God, I spelled it. Try to do all of that in English.
Mm-hmm.
And it will help you get
Like
used
used
to
to.
it,
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll get there. Try to become a more global person. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All
Interesting.
right.
Would you
Yeah.
like to ask anything else, Teacher David, or?
I think just one a little bit. And this is more like what Lucia was saying, right? Like complementing on that is that imagine that, for example, you are like a full doctor, right? You're graduated and all of that, and you're working, right? And imagine if a patient comes into the room and they don't speak Spanish. Like they speak only English, right? Like what are you gonna do? Like none other of the nurses or the other team members, they don't speak English. So what are you gonna do? So I'm gonna leave that for the people that are listening to us or that are watching us, just to think on that, right? If they want to become whatever they want, what will happen if something like that happens, right?
Yeah. And
So
actually,
mhm,
like, I know, I'm sorry I interrupted. I know I already said it, but English gives you access to the whole world.
yeah.
And I cannot stress on this enough.
Mhm,
Like, everyone you meet, wherever they're from, they probably learned English.
mhm,
And if you find someone from Belgium, Germany, Korea, Japan, China, whatever, they'll probably know English instead of Spanish. So if you're interested in knowing people from other places, English is essential.
yeah. Mhm, yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all the insight, Lucy, and all of these tips and your experience. I think it is very helpful for people who are listening and watching, and also very inspired. Um, in my own experience, talking for myself, it is very inspiring to have you close. So thank you all for joining us on this very, very interesting topic. If you liked what we talked with Lucy Ortiz, please send us a message. You can let us know. If you want to have her back, we can talk a little bit more about other things,
Bam,
or
yeah.
going to detail into like what she already told us today. And yeah, I think another takeaway we get from this episode is that try out just fully helping out.
Mhm,
Go
yeah,
out there and help just for the sake of helping.
yeah.
That's it. It really, really helps you grow and appreciate and value what life is, I
Yeah,
think.
totally. I agree.
Thank you all. And we hope to see you or talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next time.
All right.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.